Let's go to China on a joyride. Audrey, Park, and Cherry Cola are best friends for life. Stephanie, Jesus, and Sabrina Wu are along on this joyride, which was written and directed by Adele Lim, who wrote Crazy Rich Asians and had something to do with Raya the Last Dragon. Two films I've heard a lot of good things about, and they got away from me. Don't worry, I'll review them at some point, but now I'm reviewing Joyride. Okay, I already did that. Also written by two different people, Teresa Hazal, who's done television and comedy specials, and somebody that I'm calling Cherry C. She has a last name, but I'm not going to attempt to even try to pronounce. If you offered me 10 grand, I would have been able to pronounce it correctly. That being said, Joyride is a comedy that some people, or many people, have probably seen at least one or two trailers of, full length and TV ads, and the viral marketing campaign as it's seen as the funniest movie of the summer. Just absolutely raunchy, shockingly sweet, and just really, really good at having Asian women represented properly in a comedy. They got a pretty big budget and a pretty viral marketing campaign. But for those that did not see the trailers, I will give my trailer-free and spoiler-free thoughts right now. You have four friends. They're Asian Americans that are of Asian descent. I mean, however you want to describe that. Meet and decide to go to the homeland, China, as it were, of Ashley Park's Audrey, who is very successful in business, and she has her friend Lolo, played by Sherry Cola, who is terrific in this. And along the way, they have another friend that comes along, Deadeye, played by Sabrina Wu, who is the cousin of Lolo, and they meet another friend there, and from there, all these adventures happen. It's crazy, raunchy things with shockingly sweet moments, and moments of friendships being tested, and all that, and it's also about finding yourself and understanding where you came from, and the culture, and learning from the culture. And just because you may have come from somewhere and you were raised in a different place, that doesn't mean you can't go home and figure out who you truly were. And those are basically the trailer-free, spoiler-free thoughts right there. That's the best description I can come up with. So right there, just so you know, if you have seen any of the trailers, this is basically marketed as a gross-out comedy that I will say right now does have some gross moments, some pretty goddamn gross moments, some very raunchy moments, and some absolutely hilarious moments, and also some shockingly sweet moments. There are some great moments in this, and this was really, really well written. Adele Lim has proven with her listing of work that she absolutely is, perfect to direct, more movies. I mean, she gets the comedic timing and all that, and the four leads are phenomenal in this. It does turn around Audrey and Lolo, but does bring the other friends into this, and they're very significant others. And after basically a certain incident takes place, when we get a little bit of established, friendship between Audrey and Lolo, as kids, and they grow up, we see a montage and stuff like that, and then we get them grown up. Audrey's more successful, but always feeling she has to prove herself. She has Lolo go along with her because she knows more about the language. Deadeye comes along. Sabrina Wu, by the way, terrific in this, very terrific. And after they get to Beijing, they meet another friend played by Stephanie Zhu, who was in Everything Everywhere All at Once. She was phenomenal in that. Everything Everywhere All at Once, my second favorite film of 2022. Probably should have been number one in hindsight, but 1 and 2 could have been flipped around and the list would have been absolutely just as impactful. Nevertheless, certain thing happens. If you've seen the trailer, you get it. It's a thing that takes place on a train. And now they're basically stranded and they have to figure out, holy shit, we have to go in this country that we're not really all that familiar with, but some people have family ties there. I'm not talking about the Michael J. Fox series. That's a deep cut. But they find a way to they find various ways of finding themselves, and also raunchy sexiness and everything. And there are certain cameos in this, including by one particular person I will talk about in the spoilers, where I'm like, okay, that's a deep cut, even for somebody that doesn't know much about current sports. I know who that is, but this is really shockingly sweet. There are some heartfelt moments in this, and that is down to the writing, but also Adele Lim understanding pacing. It doesn't just hit you over the head with the raunchiness. it allows for the story to breathe. Is the story simple? Is it a little fanciful? Sure. Okay, could you question how the hell, after a certain thing happens, how they would be able to navigate around a country that they're not all that familiar with, even with some that have family ties there? Sure, you could question that. And is it maybe the most original comedy ever? No, but the Asian representation and the understanding of letting friendships just organically develop during this and letting certain characters have flaws and exposing those flaws, it actually works out really goddamn well. I even found myself shockingly getting a little emotional, like, holy shit, they got me here. No, I didn't cry during it, but it was shockingly good because the acting was good. I cared about the characters. I was invested in it, even as I was seeing various raunchy scenes with drugs and sex and the sex and other stuff. And Ashley Park, yes, okay, more of her. God, she's gorgeous. And I have no disrespect to any of the other actors in this. And I mean the men too. But this was, especially once I get to China, boy howdy. But there was a lot of good stuff in this, and it was really, really enjoyable. And again, it doesn't beat you over the head with the raunchiness, but once it ramps it up, it knows how to pace itself, and it knows how to really just get you invested in the story. And it's just really, really goddamn good. It's one of the best films of the year, and I didn't think I'd say that. I thought it'd be good, but after seeing No Hard Feelings and hating that, absolutely hating it, check out my review. You'll get my full thoughts. Despite Jennifer Lawrence doing one particular beach scene, this understood comedy from the very beginning. We hear Ants Marching by Dave Matthews Band, and then we go from there, and it's just great. It's really, really great. It's in theaters right now. I hope it does well because Adele Lim deserves to have her work seen. You know, now she's helming something. She wrote Crazy Rich Asians, and while I've seen some scenes of it, and I'm impressed by it, I still haven't seen the full thing. Need to check that out. But she's really, really shown, the skills to hopefully get bigger and better projects. And the cast, really, really phenomenal in this. Sabrina Wu as Deadeye, great. They were great. Absolutely great. I say they because of how the characters represented and how the individual looks in a lot of still shots. I've seen them in other stuff, so I'm going to say them just in case, so I'm proper with the terminology and the framing of how to talk about people, the proper gender identity, I believe would be the best way to call it. If I misspoke, I apologize. But this is really good, so I recommend you guys check it out. It's in theaters right now. I'm going to get into spoilers, so 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So, the Audrey Lolo friendship is just really good. Sherry Cola is fan-fucking-tastic and is gross as hell. And just great. And just from the very beginning of when they show the adult versions, it's just great. And if you've seen the trailer, there's the part where they're kids and this white boy says something racist I will not repeat here. And Lolo punches him, says, you want to be friends? And then they show a montage of them being friends and growing up. And Lolo's a designer, is very sexualized, designed the park that they first met in, and it's a whole bunch of dicks and booby sand pit, and also painted a lotus with a bunch of vaginas on the leaves because hilarity, and other just great moments here. Audrey gets the opportunity to she's going to make partner if she proves herself by making a deal over in China with Ronnie Chang. Who is really good. I've seen him in other stuff. He doesn't get much of a chance to do anything. He's only in a couple scenes, but he makes the most of it. And she wants Lolo to go along with her, Audrey does. And in Deadeye is her cousin. And Sabrina Wu is just plays the awkward individual of like early 20-somethings, or maybe even mid-20-somethings, where they have more online friends, online community, but don't feel like they really fit in. They're into K-pop, that kind of stuff, and that was really good there. And then they meet Kat Stephanie Sue, who, phenomenal and beautiful, good grief, beautiful. But she was really great in Everything Everywhere All at Once. That movie made me cry. That's great shit. You need to check that out. But she's an actress. They meet her husband, and there's like this running gag of like she hasn't told him she's pure and everything, even though she was very, very sexually active before she met him, even getting Eiffel Towered, I believe, as the word, as the term is said by a couple of the Jonas Brothers. We don't see that, but we hear about it. Now, Lolo feels threatened by Kat because Kat and Audrey were friends, and I mean, still are. But Lolo and Audrey have been friends for a while. Now, the funniest thing about this is Kat's an actress. We see a little bit of this scene, and then they meet. They go to this club, and they're going to close this deal with Ronnie Chang's character, and he's like, "Well, hey, do you know much about your family here?" Now, a little bit earlier, Audrey finds out that there was a picture of her birth mom still in her belongings. Never told Lolo, and now Ronnie's like, well, hey, bring your mother with you, because Lolo kind of lets it slip. Yeah, she has a great relationship with her birth mother. She doesn't. She doesn't know where the hell she is, but she's going to go look for her, because she has to close this deal by being at this party. And then they're going to get all ready. They're getting ready to go on the train, and they're going to go to this particular city that the mother lived in. And then there's Meredith Hagner, who plays the blonde drug dealer girl that basically gets them covered in coke, and then they have to either ingest a whole bunch of pills, do a whole bunch of coke, and do a whole bunch of drugs that she has in her bag that she thought was a good idea to smuggle on a train in China when their laws are pretty goddamn tough. And there's a lot of hilarity where Kat basically says that cocaine makes her really goddamn horny. Boy, never mind. But now she's saving herself for her significant other, Clarence, played by Desmond Chiam. I probably totally screwed that up. He's good. I've seen him in other stuff too. There's a lot of familiar faces in this movie. A lot of people you'll recognize where you'll have to check out their IMDb pages. There's Daniel Day Kim, who is really good. Really good. He has been great in a ton of shit. I believe he was the one in the Hawaii Five-0 series, but he's been great in other stuff. And now they're all drugged up. They get kicked off the train, and now they're stranded. And then they have to go on a journey. And their passports, by the way, are gone because a girl stole their luggage. Because, of course, she did. Because how else are they going to get stranded and do that stuff? And then they're all either coming down from drugs. Deadeye is trying to eat one of those plants. It kind of looks like a hot dog on a stick. I forget what the fuck they call them. They're like in the swamp. And Lolo is trying her best to help Audrey. Audrey's a little bit upset. Kat's worried because she's trying. She needs to get back to her, significant other. And they haven't gotten married yet. And they end up running into Deadeye and Lolo's family. And there's some shockingly sweet moments here. A big old, tightly knit, very, very big Chinese family. And really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Audrey's going to go look for her mom. There's a lot of other great moments here. A lot of great stuff. But before that, I need to talk about the scene where, near the beginning, where Lolo is DMing a certain NBA player that is playing in China, Baron Davis. Longtime NBA fans may remember Baron Davis. I forgot all about Baron Davis. I remember the name. I remember him being a pretty good player. Like a lot of NBA players that flame out in the pro leagues in the U.S., goes over to China, makes a lot of money. And he shows up and knows Lolo, and then there's a bunch of sexual stuff that ends up happening in a hotel that's goddamn hilarity. Two guys, Audrey basically, clasps her legs around the heads of two guys. God, Ashley Park is beautiful. I mean that. I mean that with respect. Fuck, she's beautiful. But there's a funny part there. There's another part where the former Flame of Cats, where he's using a massage gun. The thing that pounds up and down, up and down, up and down. Does the whole thing like this. And then she has a basketball between her legs as she bursts, and then she pounds him in the dick with it. And then there's another guy that is in a BTS shirt, because Deadeye is a big fan of BTS, where they're doing dancing. He snaps his legs. Baron Davis has to play the game all by himself, basically, and they take off. So now all of a sudden, oh shit, they got no ride. And then they pose as a K-pop group because Deadeye is into K-pop, and it turns out they're friends. One of their particular friends that has a Twitter user handle that has escaped me right now, shows up playing their very effeminate not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. Agent, and they have to basically do a certain song. They have to prove that they're a K-pop group, and they do that WAP song. No, really, the Cardi B WAP song. And I was losing it. I was trying not to laugh too loud because there were other people in the theater and a couple people right in front of me who were a very nice couple, by the way. They actually wanted to make sure that they weren't sitting directly in front of me if I was bothered. And everybody was laughing in the theater, and it was just great. And then a little bit earlier, there was a reference to Kat having a certain tattoo on her vagina, as it were. Well, then during the course of this, her skirt gets ripped off. And it's not a little tattoo. It's a big old devil tattoo all over, all over the cooch, labia, all that stuff and everything. And even on the inside, a devil. And then that gets leaked out. So her career is pretty much ruined. Clarence doesn't understand why she would lie about not being, or about, being pure when she wasn't. And then there's a whole bunch of arguments between friends, all this shit's going on. Audrey ends up getting fired from her job, but she's still really, really driven, and she's bound, determined to make this work. And she's going to go see her mother because during the course of meeting Deadeye and Lolo's family and all this extended stuff and the leaked video and then other stuff, it turns out that actually, Audrey's mother was Korean. The parents sent her over to China to have the kid, to get the kid away. Then she came back because the boyfriend at the time didn't want it. Didn't want her. So then they fly to Korea, and that's why they did the K-pop thing. They did all that, and then she finds out that her mom passed away. Daniel Day Kim comes in as the husband, not her father, but the husband who gave the mother the best years of her life. Okay, yeah, I kind of lied. This part actually got me. Where he plays a video of the mother basically saying, whatever you did, I'm really proud of you. I'm not going to try and encapsulate, but it was really good. The actress who played the mother was very good. I don't recognize her name, but she was good in this scene. A lot of good emotional stuff. And then she bonds with her friends. Her friends, after a whole bunch of arguments and a whole bunch of stuff. Kat is still acting. And Audrey is doing some really, really good shit as far as starting her own practice. Lolo got her designs going. And Deadeye was covering at the restaurant that Lolo's parents work at. And, oh, look, I'm selling all this stuff. And then they bond, they're friends and everything, and it's all good. And then they go to Paris. And they have another girls' trip. And then Kat and Clarence are going to get married. Because they came together and Clarence said, I love you, doesn't matter. You know, like, I wanted to be good to you. And I just wanted to live up to the guys that you've been with. And from there, we have Joyride, which is just, and it ends with some great, by the way, artwork. Whoever did the artwork for the credits, fucking phenomenal. This is great. This is just fucking great. A+, it's great. Joyride is great. Absolutely check it out. It is 100% great. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.